Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of my F1 2018 career mode, my second video of the day. If you guys did miss the one I did earlier on, which was regarding F1 2019 and the possibility of F2, the Formula 2 cars being in the game, then do check that video out by clicking the link in the description down below or clicking the link in the top right hand corner of your screen. In there you will also find the link to the previous career mode episode as well if you want to get up to speed on season 3. But we arrive here at China, the third race of the season, and after a really tough start to season 3 and a massive struggle for pace, we arrive at the first circuit where I might have a chance of competing. First of all, you can see there no upgrades for no teams this race for the second race running. We actually used a new power unit in the last race in Bahrain because we started from the back, so we're going to now revert back to the original power unit from Australia. And we're going to go into this weekend with an empty mind and try and forget about the first two races and try and crack on with the knacking. And to be fair, I felt very, very confident here, and I felt a lot better around here compared to Bahrain and Australia. The car felt good, and I felt competitive, which was good news. And the car also, as a whole, just felt like a decent package, and I felt like I could really push. And it was encouraging for once, you know, like Bahrain, we got 5th place in the race, but we just did not have the pace. We was like 2 seconds off the pace. The strategy really done it for us. You know, we did the one stop, and ultimately that really brought us into the race. But we qualified P19 on raw pace around Bahrain, and same as Australia as well. Australia still, to be fair, I have no explanation as to why I was slow around there. That one's going to remain a mystery for a long, long time. But at this track, it was different. I could tell the car was competitive, and we had a good car underneath us. However, after practice and after a positive start to the weekend, I was like, you know what? We've got this. This is looking much better. I went into qualifying, and there's a couple of issues. I don't know if it's because of the amount of patches that's come out or things that have been changed in the game, but basically, long story short, the lap times are glitched. So we got knocked out in Q1 straight away. I can tell you that for a fact. We're going to watch the whole lap on board so you can see what I mean in a moment's time. But it was a really weird glitch. I've never seen it before. Sometimes you see a bug, like a bug lap time where someone does like a sub 1 minute lap time. But this was like all 3 sectors, every single person was doing a glitched out OP sector, and it was basically impossible for me to compete. Some people were going 3 seconds faster in sector 1 or sector 2 or sector 3. It was all mixed up, you know, and anyone could you could finish wherever you wanted, basically. I don't know what was going on, but it's a new glitch, one that I've not seen, and you'll see what I mean now. We're going to run on board for a whole lap of the Shanghai circuit, and we're going to see how it goes. First of all, turn 1, the 50-meter board is your reference point to turn into the corner, and keep a nice tight line. Have patience, go down the gears to use them to rotate the car. Use the curbs, really balance on those, and lean on those to really get the car rotated on the power early on out of turn 2. And so far, it's been a perfect first sector. I'd even say this is like a Q3 level lap for this one, because I knew it was glitched and I had to put in a good lap to do a good shift. Straight away, we're half a second down already on Brendan Hartley, which is impossible. I can't find half a second nowhere around the track. As we now go through the long left swooper of 7 into turn 8. Again, another swooping right this time around. 5 minutes to go in the session, so the grip is at a pretty high standard here in the session. As we now go through a double apex left, and now onto this short little squirt on the throttle. A little mistake there, a little bit wide as we brake at the 100-meter board, down to the 3rd gear for this hairpin. Again, 2.1 down on Brendan Hartley as things stand at the moment, which is absolutely ridiculous. As we now go through the banking, going through the gears on the power early on, making our way onto the back straight. And so far, I must admit, with the exception of that little mistake onto the straight just before, it's been a perfect lap. It's a lap that I'd be happy with in Q3. As we now look for the break point, just after the 100-meter board, brake down to 2nd gear, and really try and maximise how close you get to the apex. On the power, nice bit of patience, short shift to 3rd gear as we now go into the final corner. Really attack the inside curb here without touching the bollard, and focus on your exit. Open up the DRS and up to the line, and it's going to be only 18th place. And you can see on screen now, you guys can pause the video and look at the sector times for yourselves. But we've got the top half of the table there. You can see Sirot in there. He's got the purple middle sector. Some sectors are like normal. Then you got Gasly there, who's got the fastest final. And it's just really, really confusing. Hartley, I think, had the fastest first sector. And ultimately, we finished the session in 19th place, and for the 3rd race running, it's the 3rd consecutive Q1 knockout. But this one, in my opinion, I was robbed. Nothing I could have done, and it's just a weird glitch. But all in all, a disappointing qualifying. But I feel confident I could turn it around in the race tomorrow, especially with the one-stop strategy. So let's jump into the race.
The fans really seem to enjoy that. You made it look easy. Are you hoping to have your reliability issues sorted out before qualifying? You won't be starting at the front of the pack. Are you worried? Appreciate your time.
Ever since the Sauber of Felipe Massa passed Jenson Button into Turn 1 at the very first Chinese Grand Prix in 2004, Shanghai has consistently provided close racing and extraordinary memories. It's where Lewis Hamilton effectively lost the title in his rookie year, and it's where Nico Rosberg claimed Mercedes' first win of the modern era in 2012. We start a lap here at Shanghai with the long, difficult right-handers of turns 1 and 2, the first of 16 corners that make up this 3.3-mile circuit. The incredibly long back straight provides the best passing opportunity of the lap, with speeds in excess of 200 miles per hour before the braking zone of turn 14. With me today, of course, is Anthony Davidson. Let's talk about Martinez. No grip penalties, no mitigating circumstances, just a poor qualifying performance and a very disappointing start position for them today.
They'll have a sinking feeling as they look up from the cockpit and realise they're in a different postcode to the start line for sure. But the one positive they can hold on to is that the car is quick and they can make their way through the field.
Well then, after an exciting qualifying session yesterday, let's take a look at how the cars line up. Kimi Raikkonen's perfect lap yesterday sees him start from pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Vettel, Ricciardo, Sergio Perez and Ocon, Gasly, Sainz, Grosjean and Brendan Hartley, Alonso, Sirotkin, Charles Leclerc and Ericsson, Van Dorn, Bottas, Nico Hülkenberg and Kevin Magnussen. Martinez and Lance Stroll rounds off the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track.
Right then, here we are on the grid for the Chinese Grand Prix, P19 starting on the last row. Unfortunately, like you saw, not much we could do in qualifying. However, if my lap had counted in Q3 with a 29.7, I would have been 2 seconds faster than Raikkonen's Q3 time. So I'm not really sure what's going on or where we stand. Now, I do think in this car, this is the best car I've ever had when I've arrived to this circuit. So I know I'm going to be the fastest car around here. I know I've got the race pace. I'd be very surprised if some car surprises me. Maybe the Toro Rosso's might have some pace, but I generally think I'm going to have the pace, and I'm going to have the huge benefit of one stopping this race compared to two stopping. So we're going to get a massive jump on the top 10. Last year, and the year before, we got into Q3 both races. We had a really strong pace around this track, and both times we qualified on the Ultra, and then we had to transition over to a two-stop strategy. But for this time, we actually get to try the one-stopper, and it's still critical that we do drive smooth and save our tyres. So I'm not going to overly push in this first stint, especially on the softs. I'll try and be aggressive at the start, but generally the pace is going to try and be smooth and consistent with the tyres, keep the temperatures under control, and then transition over to the medium tyre, which should be a little bit more easy to control things. But the objective of this race is simple. There might not be loads of overtakes, and we're going to be focusing more on longevity because I think I've got the pace. I still want to find out for myself firsthand if I do have it, but I think it's going to be a good race for us. And just like in the last one in Bahrain, where you could argue strategy, even though it was good for us, it was a bit of a fluke because my pace was terrible. This time, we're going to have the pace. So I'm looking forward to it. And I'm going to be honest, I'm aiming for a podium this race, minimum, to keep on going and trying to continue my momentum after a poor start in Australia. So with that being said, let's jump into it here at China and let's see how this one goes. But I'm looking forward to it, and it's time for the Chinese Grand Prix. Right then, let's get ready for the 5 red lights here for the Chinese Grand Prix. Lights out and away we go. Decent start, not too shabby. Stroll does get the measure of me in the second phase. He's going to have the inside line for turn 1, so we're going to go on the outside. This is my chance to make up a couple of early positions here. Look at that, nice bit of space there to make some moves. Side by side, Nico Hülkenberg. Hülkenberg put me right on the curb there. Absolutely no room for me to go. We're going to get the traction down though and just edge ahead of him on the exit. Up into P17 straight away, good start. Into turn 4, up the inside of Stoffel Van Dorn here. Bottas in front of us. Surprisingly, he started on the ultra softs, which is quite interesting. When he's had the chance to go for the one stop, he's still committing to the 2 in the Mercedes. Quite interesting strategy there from Valtteri. Meanwhile, the Sauber's going side by side here, having a bit of a scrap on track. Leclerc just getting in front of Ericsson though, right at the end there. Let's see if we can try and get past all these soft tyre runners. I'm not sure also how many in the top 10 start on softs. I'd be curious to know, because obviously those are going to be a threat and a factor in this race as well. We get extremely close to Bottas there on the braking. Obviously he's getting choked up by everybody in front, getting early on the brakes. Going through the banking now for the first time this race. A little bit of patience required, but we get the power down. We're just going to follow the slipstream here. We can't really race in a straight line with these guys. So hopefully if Bottas pulls to the inside, he'll lose a bit of slipstream and I can try and capitalise. And there you go. He's going to go around the outside of Marcus Ericsson here into the hairpin. We're going to go up the inside of Bottas though as Ericsson goes late on the brakes on his teammate. Goes for the re-overtake. We're going to get the power down and get a better traction than Bottas. Valtteri though keeps his car there. And we're going to go on the outside of the final corner. Pick up the traction yet again. Do we have enough? Not quite. Rich mix required here to try and get ahead. Bottas is going to try and commit to it. And he just edges in front of me into turn 1. But I'm going to try and get the shallow line here. And get up the inside of Leclerc in the Sauber. There we go. Nice little double overtake there. Bottas getting held up by the Sauber, and we take full advantage of it. Now let's try and get past Marcus Ericsson, but we're up to P14.
Some information on Alonso. They're slowing down. It seems like there's some kind of problem with their car.
Alonso's right in front of us there, and he's slowing right down now. Looks like he's got a puncture. He might even be retiring from the race. Meanwhile, I was saying I'm not being overly aggressive. I'm just being fair. You know, I'm trying to make up a couple of positions while it's early on in the race, but I'm not forcing the issue too much. There we've got Brendan Hartley there. He's going to be a threat, but I think he's on ultras, so that should discard most of that threat. Let's focus now on this back straight and try and get past Ericsson, and maybe even Sorokin as well. We might get a nice double toe, although Sorokin's going to get a nice little slipstream from Hartley in front. Going through the banking now, getting a little bit of dirty air, but we're going to get the power down. Look at that. Look at the grip in the Red Bull car, and we get the traction down beautifully, and we power past Ericsson, but Ericsson now coming back at me. I'm trying to get a toe from Sorokin here, using overtake ERS to stay in front, but it's not happening for me. Late on the brakes into the hairpin, around the outside of Ericsson to hold on to the position. And there we go, textbook stuff. And we stay ahead of the Swede. Ricardo comes
Daniel's in the pits.
As does Brendan Hartley. Early stoppers here, coming off of the Ultra Softs very early on. 35.2 from us, decent pace, DRS now enabled. Let's try and get past Sergei Sorokin here in the Williams. He's also on the soft compound tyres, surprise, surprise. You can see these ultra soft runners in front of us. We've got Ocon, Grosjean and Sainz all struggling on their tyres. We found the grip here on the outside, and we're going around the outside of Sorokin there. Look at that, fantastic move. Sorokin just couldn't get the car rotated. That Williams, not great when it comes to aero and chassis, and he just got completely done around the outside, and we're now up into 9th place. Now we're going to have to get past these 3 ultra soft tyre runners here. At the end of the day, you know it's bad when the AI, who are tyre saving gods and experts, are struggling on their tyres. That's when you know the ultra softs are just not a good tyre. So here we go through the banking. Sainz is really struggling to get any sort of power down here. We're going to get right in the slipstream. Overtake and rich mix engaged. Can we try and get past the Red Bull here? DRS now wide open. We're going to get a mega toe from the cars in front. Can we make anything happen here? Got to be careful. Grosjean locks up the inside of Sainz at the hairpin. We just get in front of him there quite nicely. I'm expecting Ocon and Grosjean to come in. No, they don't. Neither of them do. They both stay out. Sainz does come in though. DRS enabled. We're going to get a toe here from Grosjean. We're gaining. Can we get enough into turn 1? I have to back out of it. Not close enough, but these guys have got no grip on their ultra softs. And we go straight out the inside of the pair of them there. And we're straight up into 4th place. So a nice little double overtake there. There was a car leaving the pits, which we've actually managed to jump as well. So good news for us. But we're now in 4th place. Nice bit of clean air on lap 4. It's been a very strong start to this race. And we can now get into that phase where we start controlling the tyres and controlling the race, because it's critical for our longevity and making the one-stop work. So let's get our head down, set some good laps, but at the same time manage the tyres. Personal best 34.6 in standard engine modes. Perez staying out, as does Ocon on the ultra softs. Interesting strategy there from the Force Indias. Okay, so what's the 401-2? One of them has come in, as does Sergio Perez. So the remaining ultra soft tyre runners are starting to have enough of their tyres. We're now being very consistent. As you can see, they're matching our personal best. It's Sebastian Vettel, and he comes in for another set of ultras, which is an interesting strategy. But then again, not too surprising. He would go putting on to the mediums after that. So Seb's going to be quick on those tyres, and he's come out in clean air critically in front of Ocon. So Seb might be on the back of me very, very soon here. At the moment, tyre wears are looking fine. The only concern for me is tyre temperature. Left rear is a little bit hot, but it's manageable, which is good news. So right now we're still doing a good job here, and we're pretty comfortable. Raikkonen's just coming to the pit lane, so it's going to be us in the lead now for a little while. Decent recovery, and a great start from the back of the grid. There's Kimi also on the same strategy, going to another set of Ultra Softs. And it's going to be close between him and Sebastian. They might have started battling, to be fair, so that might help me out in terms of keeping this position. Okay, Sebastian's on the back of me here in the Ferrari. We're having to deploy rich mix and overtake. I'm going to defend because this is for track position. We're both going to go on mediums at the end of the race, so it's critical that we stay in front. I'm going to go with a squeeze there on the hairpin exit. Yellow flag behind, something's happened. But right now we're holding on to this race lead. Both of the Ferraris, like I said, are for position, so it's critical that we stay in front. Personal best, Vettel with a 32.1, makes you realise the pace difference on that Ultra Soft. And Lewis
Right,
Hamilton,
some information on Hamilton. They've got a serious car issue. It looks like they're retiring.
he's out of the race. Big shock here at China and a big retirement early on. Like I was saying, we need to stay in front of the Ferraris. I know their Ultras will fade very quick, but we have to keep on defending. Here comes Sebastian around the outside this time. He locks up though, runs deep. We're going to try and hold the inside line. Sebastian's got a hell of a lot of grip though, I can't lie. I'm struggling to defend. A little bit of contact there. Sebastian gets the move done, and that's him into first place again. I can't recover from that. If I can just stay close, I might be able to go for the re-overtake on the back straight, but I need to stay close. Never mind, here comes Kimi instead. He's going to go up the inside and go for the move. I'm going to get out of it, let him go ahead of me momentarily, and I'll pick up the DRS. Keep the shallow line through the banking. And we'll try and go for the re-overtake here on the Iceman. Ferrari's definitely running high engine modes, which is something that's quite noticeable when they got past me. And here we go, we're going to power past Kimi again and go for the re-overtake. Into the hairpin, late on the brakes, take the inside line, squeeze him out, and hold the position. There we go, lovely stuff. I can't battle too heavily though against these guys because I'm going to do my tyres in, so we need to be careful and pick our battles. Kimi's going to be in the back of me again here. He's getting the run. Into the hairpin, I'm going to go nice and deep on the brakes. Bit of argy-bargy going on, but we're going to stay in front. This time he doesn't get the move done like Sebastian. He can't go around the outside, and we stay in front. I'm kind of finding a losing battle here the more I think about it, because Kimi just keeps on costing me time on my strategy basically, so we might as well just let him do what he's got to do. But I've still got the DRS through the banking. I'm going to squeeze him right out. Next time he passes me or gets a run on me convincingly, I'll let him go, but for now we're staying put. As I say that, it seems like the Ultras have just started to fade. Kimi hasn't been able to get a single run on me this lap. However, he's going to have DRS and be very close to me here on the back straight. So, you know what? I'm not going to fight it. I'll let him go. Because we've got such a big gap behind, I'd rather just secure the podium, to be honest. Rotkin's behind me in fourth. And he's going to be a bit of a cork in the bottle for everyone behind. So, it just makes more sense to just let this battle go. And I'd rather follow Kimi because I think the Ultras are fading. As Sebastian comes in, that's a very early stop. So, that could be potential for a 3-stop even. So, let's not get too ahead of ourselves here. That could be a 3-stop for Sebastian. We'll see what tyre goes on now. He's going to be in third for a little while. And he goes on to another set of Ultras, I think. Yeah, he's going to another set of Ultras. So Sebastian's on a 3-stop, so we're automatically back ahead of Sebastian. Is Kimi going to follow the same strategy? Because if he does, we're back into a race-winning position. So like I said, this is why it makes more sense to just do our thing, basically, and forget about the AI and battling. Okay, if we look at the mini-map, I'm kind of like evaluating my options. You can see that massive train of cars. Vettel's come out at the back of it, so he's going to lose time. Now I'm thinking to myself, on this one-stopper, I might prolong the stint by one more lap and get to lap 13 instead of lap 12. Lap 12 is my scheduled pit stop lap. If I get to 13, hopefully some of those guys would have pit, and I don't come out in that pack because I feel like I'm going to lose a lot of time on my strategy. Kimi comes in. Let's see what strategy he goes for. I'm going to presume it's the same as his teammate. But I'm very surprised that Ferrari's went for the 3-stop, considering they went so long on the first stint. Either way, we're now back into the race lead. This is my scheduled pit stop lap, so next time I catch a glimpse of the train, which will be very soon here, through turns 1 and 2, let's see how many of those guys came into the pit lane. Because if a lot of them came in, then we can actually come in this lap and play it safe. It looks like there's still a few cars in there. I can see Sebastian there making his way through traffic. I see a Mercedes as well, so we'll probably wait on for one more lap, I think. Right then, We're going to go for one more lap. I've engaged hot lap mode on the ERS. We're going to keep it in hot lap for this entire last lap to make sure it's a strong in lap. Let's go, let's make this one count. Strong in lap. 2 personal best sectors so far. And we're extending the gap to Sirotkin behind. Some of those guys have already come in, so that's also good news. You can see there's Vettel, he's a 4th car in the train, but the train is a lot more empty than when it was a couple of laps ago. And there should be a few more cars in the pit this lap. I don't think I'm going to be under threat of getting held up either, so that's good news now. We've cleared that possible threat, so let's get ready for our pit stop here. On for a personal best. Very consistent stint. Kept the tyres at all times in the temperature window. This time, for once, I didn't overheat my tyres, which is a first for me around this circuit. Now for the pit lane. I've got a penalty here for cutting too much, so I'm taking it the very legal way just in case I get caught out by a penalty. And into the pit lane there. Perfect. Taking no risks whatsoever. No need to. So here we go into the pit lane. Onto a fresh set of the medium compound tyres. And also extending the stint by one more lap means we can basically lean on these tyres a little bit more than what we would have done.
Daniel's in for his stop.
Right, now we're going to see where do we drop in the grand scheme of things here. Shouldn't be too bad. There we go, clean air. And in P6, that is fantastic. So the strategy's worked out beautifully for us. Now we just got to try and get up to speed on these tyres and get them up to temperature, which is going to be a bit of a struggle. That's going to be a little bit complicated at first. But once we've got this up to temperature, we should be good to go to the end of the Grand Prix. Right then, Pierre Gasly in the pit lane. We've now got the tyres up to temperature. We're up in the 5th place. Now is when we can start having a little bit of fun because we're going to have the tyre advantage. These mediums, even though it's the slowest compound, once they're now up to temperature, which is now the case, they feel phenomenal in clean air. And a massive, massive difference to those soft tyres, which were absolutely destroyed. But I took good care of them. They were only on 45% wear, I think, at worst. So definitely the best I've been around this circuit when it comes to overall tyre wear. But now we get to use these fresh boots and put them to work. I'm pretty sure I'm the net race leader, so it's all under control at the moment. It's just about running smooth, setting competitive lap times, and doing our thing. Unlike in Bahrain, this time we're not going to be challenged, I don't think. We're going to be under control. Even though I'll say that, I've realised there's still a long way to go in this race, but I feel comfortable and I feel way more better around here than doing Bahrain. Right, Hartley comes in the other Toro Rosso. That lap McLaren comes in, as does Carlos Sainz. We do a personal best by half a second, a 33.8 or 0.9, sorry, strong pace. And we're now into P4. All looking very good so far. The front 3 are Perez, Vettel, Raikkonen. Perez might be going to the end. I've looked at his tyres. He's on medium, so he could be going to the end of the Grand Prix. So he might be a wild card in this. Just like in Bahrain, he sort of caught everyone out with a bit of a contra strategy. So we need to pick up the pace here to catch up to Sergio, just in case. I think I am faster than him anyway, but just to make sure. And there we go, Sebastian Vettel in the pit lane. He's going to go onto the softs. There you go. So he's going to have the edge on the tyres as we do another personal best. So Seb could be a threat, you never know, on softs if he keeps the tyres alive long enough. But right now we're into 3rd place, back onto the podium. And that's the visual gap we have to Sebastian. So let's make it count. Right, now Kimi comes in as expected. Another personal best, 33.6. I'm going faster and faster every lap. And I'm catching Perez as well. So making good progress here. I think Perez is going to the end. So we're going to have to overtake him if we want to win this race. No fastest lap of the race from Sebastian. So he's not flying on those tyres just yet. There might be a scrub set. So even then he might struggle for tyre wear and getting to the end of the Grand Prix. We're doing a good job here. We're still progressing towards Perez. Admittedly, not as fast as I'd like. So we need to try and find some more time to gain. If not, I'm kind of banking on the fact he might come in for a late ultra stint. Gap down to 4.4. It's coming down about half a second a lap. So at this rate, we would catch him by the end of the race. Just starting to lead in the tyres a little bit more now. Another personal best. Gap inside 4 seconds now to Perez. We're still catching here. At the moment, Sebastian is catching me. I'm catching Perez. The gap between the top 3 now are pretty similar. I'm still closer to Perez than what Sebastian is to me, but the gap is coming down. I've had to go run lean mix a little bit to try and get back on target for fuel, because I'm actually going through more fuel in standard mix. So I'm having to control that and manage it. But we're slowly chipping away at Perez every single lap. Oh, a personal best there. Gap now inside 3 seconds. We're catching here, but I need to find a little bit more pace. I need to get at least within DRS to really close that gap. Another personal best of 0.5 this time. Getting faster and faster each lap. Perez, though, does respond on that lap. And Sebastian now is getting closer and closer. I need Perez's tyres to drop off. His tyres are older than mine, so I need them to start to fade. Sergio has picked up the pace. at the critical time. Gap is 2.9. It's actually gone up, and I'm on for another personal best here, and I'm on the limit of pace, but Perez has found some time from somewhere. Managing tyres. Tyre temperatures look great. Tyre temperatures look phenomenal, to be fair. Just got to keep doing what I'm doing. Gap to Perez 2.9. Actually went up on that lap. Perez really finding time when he needed it the most. Hopefully that's the best he can do, and he starts dropping off again. I've given up now on my chase of Perez. 2 laps to go. We're now defending from Sebastian Vettel here. So let's get a defensive hat screwed on, and let's bring home the 2nd place. Right, here comes Sebastian. He's going to be a threat. He's got DRS engaged. I'm going to go defensive slightly to the inside. Force him out wide. I can't really use overtake ERS because I've not got enough left. Vettel does lock up though, and that's going to allow me to stay in front quite comfortably. We just edge in front. Vettel looking for the outside into the final corner. Not going to work through there.
Some information on Hartley. They have some kind of mechanical problem.
Again, Vettel coming at me here on the home straight. Last lap of the Grand Prix, I'm going to have to go defensive. Vettel commits to the inside line. We're going to go on the outside. Last lap of the race. Is there any grip left on these tyres? Vettel committing to the inside. I'm committing to the outside. Vettel just edges it. I'm still there though, still trying. Seb picks up the traction, as do I. Last lap of the Grand Prix. Last chance saloon here. Last lap of the Grand Prix. Through the banking. Do I get DRS? No, I don't. Unfortunately, it's not going to be enough. Vettel had too much pace in those softs. Raikkonen's behind me, but he's not close enough for an attack. So it's going to be P3 for us this race, I think. Let's nurse the car home through the final couple of corners. It's a shame we let it go right at the end there, but Vettel, to be fair, surprised me with that overtake, and he made it stick. So fair play to him. Final corner, Perez wins. Fair play. We come home for our 3rd place and our first podium of the season. So I can't complain about that. A great result from 19th on the grid, and a very solid points finish after a very shock 5th place in Bahrain. A great race here today. Right, so looking at the final race results, Perez wins the Chinese Grand Prix ahead of Sebastian Vettel and myself. A great recovery from P19 on the grid. Kimi Raikkonen P4 in the 2nd Ferrari, and Pierre Gasly beats Brendan Hartley in the Toro Rosso battle. Then he comes home in P5. Then we've got Esteban Ocon P7 in the 2nd Force India ahead of Nico Hulkenberg. Then Ricciardo, my teammate, on the 2-stop, actually coming home in 9th place, fair play. And finally Kevin Magnussen in P10. The Ferraris today, the only 2 cars on a 3-stop, and they had incredible pace, and they definitely were the fastest car by a country mile. Lewis Hamilton was the shock DNF in this race, and in terms of the driver standings, we jump up into 7th place, which is good news. Another solid points haul for us. Perez leads the way after winning the last 2 races, and Sebastian Vettel jumps up into 2nd place. Meanwhile, Gasly overtakes Hamilton, also there for P4, and Ricciardo jumps up into 9th place, overtaking Valtteri Bottas. Finally though, in the constructors, we remain in 5th place, but we're only 1 point behind Mercedes, and Ferrari are the dominant force up front. Force India though gaining quite a couple of points back on them thanks to Perez's win, and they get 2nd place back from Toro Rosso. But all in all, a good race for us today, and hopefully we just keep on building this momentum, and if we can score decent points finishing in Baku, which would be very surprising, then once we get past Baku, Spain, Monaco, Canada, all those good tracks that I'm very competitive at, and I'm looking forward to really get my season back on track. So one more race of these bad ones to go in terms of Baku, but once again, hopefully you guys enjoyed the episode, and we're now going to move into the laptop.
Amazing performance out there. You must be really happy. Did you struggle to get through all that traffic today? Another podium. You must be getting used to it up there. It was more like dodgems than Formula 1 today, wasn't it? Appreciate your time.
I've been in touch with some contacts at Williams, and they think your attitude and results might be a good fit for their team. We can talk to them at our next contract review if you're interested. Let's see what kind of offer they can put on the table.
Right, then that's pretty interesting. Maybe Williams are interested, but first of all, we're going to keep on working on this Red Bull car. So, first of all, powertrain. Now, we're going into Baku, which is the next race, and we can get 2 minor upgrades on the car, so that's exactly what I'm going to do. One of them might fail, you just never know. Oh, what? Do I have enough? Okay, I don't have enough points. Never mind. I'm not sure why that's gone up in price all of a sudden. I bought the upgrade and it got more expensive. Okay, never mind. We'll go for plan B then. So we'll go for reliability instead, and we're going to go for control electronics yet again, because control electronics, if you have that nicely developed, it means the other parts wear out less. So yeah, then we're going to have to go into the MGUH. That's important. Then we're going to go into the gearbox. So a lot of things to do in this car still, but you can see on the chart on the right hand side, Williams are the third from last team, and to be fair, they've been making good progress, so it might be something to weigh up, but definitely not in the next contract window. So for now, we're just gonna, probably leave as it is. We do have an upgrade in the car for the next race. Hopefully that upgrade will just edge us out in front of Ferrari and Toro Rosso, but then again, they might bring upgrades of their own for Baku. But let's see what happens. Hopefully you guys did enjoy the episode though of Crewman. If you have enjoyed it, drop a like on the video. Also, do get subscribed, guys, for daily Formula 1 content. Turn on notifications to not miss a single video from me. And also, check out GT Omega, guys, in the link down below in the description. Use the code TOM97 for a 5% discount at checkout. And also, check out these two videos on screen if you have missed them. But other than that, guys, thank you for watching. Let's see you on my next episode very soon. Goodbye.